Mr. Gallego.
The last one. Thank you, General. I also want to thank you for your service, but also for taking the time to teach so many of us the intricacies of Afghanistan, especially on our visits over there. That is very meaningful to so many of us. I represent 1/36th of the population of Texas, but nearly a quarter of it by land. And if you're looking at that map from San Antonio to El Paso, a lot of I'm going to call them kids, who either serve now or have served in uniform and have served in Afghanistan. And I meet with veterans. The one thing that ties us all together, big or small town, is the large community of veterans. And recently, in meeting with some veterans, there is, and I'll be diplomatic in the term that I use, I will say there's some disappointment with the U.S. And the exit from Iraq, because there's a lot of those veterans who feel like they sacrificed so much and saw their colleagues and comrades in arms sacrifice so much, and at the end of the day, there was not much left to show for it. Your testimony here has been fairly optimistic, so what would you say to those veterans about why Afghanistan is different and why it is that we should be optimistic about the idea that we will draw down and draw out completely?
Congressman, thanks. As I've said to the force several times, one of the most important responsibilities I feel, and all of us that are serving in Afghanistan feel right now, is that at the end of this mission, at the end of 2014, we need to look at the families that have fallen, and we need to look at our counterparts that returned home much different than when they deployed, and tell them that what they did was worthwhile. That's very important to us. And so I've described what we're doing today as what does winning look like at the end of 2014. And what I would say to your constituents is, particularly those that played a role in Afghanistan, what winning looks like is affecting security transition and letting the Afghan forces stand on their own so that they can provide security in Afghanistan and, by the way, be effective partners in the war against terrorism that has threatened our country. So that's the first component. The second component is to assist and support political transition, and we're doing that, and I anticipate we'll see political transition here in the remaining part of the year. And their third real component is the broader regional piece that I've talked about a couple of times this morning, and focusing specifically on Pakistan and the relationship between Afghanistan and Pakistan, and we're working very hard to facilitate a good bilateral relationship between those two countries. But the first two components are the ones that I believe at the end of 2014, particularly if we stay the course with a post-2014 mission, we'll be able to look at those who have sacrificed over the past 12 years and say, what we came out to do was establish a stable, secure, unified Afghanistan with effective and capable Afghan security forces. And we're doing that. And you can see the evidence of it every day in terms of increased numbers of Afghan forces that are providing security and reduced numbers of coalition forces. And I think the elections in 2014 are going to be a watershed event. We will have given the people of Afghanistan the opportunity to determine their own future. And I think being a part of that, as you know from your constituents that were part of Afghanistan and Iraq, that matters to us. We appreciate, I think, and value democracy as much as anybody, and to be a part of that development in Afghanistan, I think, is also important. And so in my mind, at the end of the year, you know, people don't use the term winning, Congressman. When I talk to 18, 19, 22-year-old young men and women that are risking it all to perform a mission, I think talking in terms of what winning looks like is important. And I can identify those three components, and all of them are achievable in 2014, and all of them can be secured with a fairly small presence post-2014.
Well, I will tell you, General, as a parent of a very young son who is 9, I mean, I don't see how some parents, you know, sleep with their kids over there. And so I thank you very much for doing all that you can to make sure that all of our sons and daughters over there are safe, and for doing a phenomenal job at taking care of them. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Congressman.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you. Thank you, General. In some ways, it seems to me we save the most important questions and answers till the end, and I appreciate that very much. I know it's always hard for you to get away, but I think it was important for the committee and the country to hear your straight-up assessment of where things stand these days in Afghanistan. Thank you for taking the time to come.